Hello friends, welcome to DLL channel and a very happy Independence Day to all. So let's start the session. So today's topic is voltage. So what are we going to learn in this session? What is voltage, sources of voltage and how voltage works. So you have probably heard that a battery or a wall outlet has a certain number of volts. Now what is volts? I'll give you a definition. Volts is nothing but the measurement of electrical potential produced by the battery or the utility grid connected to the wall outlet. Oh, this is a very complicated definition. Let's understand this. So this is a battery and these are the wall outlets, right? So the volts are sitting there waiting for you to use them, but there is a problem. In order for electricity to do any work, it needs to be able to move, right? It's kind of like a blown up balloon. If you pinch it off, there is air in there that could do something if it's released, but it won't actually do anything until you let it out. What we see here, blown up balloon is like kind of a holder holding air potential. So when you pinch it or open its mouth, basically when you create a hole, a path for air which is inside the balloon to come out, then it will try to come out, right? So you need to give a path for the potential air which is there in the balloon. So how are you giving a path? By creating a hole. The same way, for electricity to flow you need a path, right? And we know that electricity can only flow through materials that can conduct electricity. What are those materials? For example, a copper wire. So copper wire is one of the materials through which electrons can flow even electricity. Right, now we understand that to use the electrical potential from battery or a wall unit, we need to connect a copper wire to flow electricity. Be careful, the voltage in wall outlet is very dangerous. So this is like if you see this, so there is a battery, this is a copper wire and an LED. You might get a question here. We have connected a battery, a copper wire and an LED to do some work, but still it is not glowing. Why? So because you have everything connected. Now let's go back to the balloon example and see what exactly is happening here. Right, there is a path and you have a high pressurized area, and when you give a path it tries to come out. Why it tries to come out? Because inside the balloon you have a very high pressurized area. So the air tries to come out, to come to the lower pressure. Always, anything which is pressurized will try to come to the lower pressure. Right, anything, it could be anything. The same way, your air is very pressurized here in the balloon. So when it will try to find a even smallest path also. If there is a hole on the balloon, it tries to come out through that part to the lower pressure area. The same way, your electrons, your electricity which flows through the copper wire needs a differential in voltage. That is one as a high voltage and there is one as a low voltage. Let's see. So this is like we have connected a 5 volts and this is a 0 volts. This is like a copper wire. So there is a differential in voltage. Now what happens? Your electrons flows because there is a differential, there is a low voltage. So your electrons tries to flow from high voltage to the low voltage through this LED, doing some work. Doing what? Glowing it up, lighting the LED. So now we understand that we need differential voltage for electricity to flow. Now the question is, where do you find higher or lower voltage? Right, here we'll understand something very useful. Please listen carefully. Every source of electricity has two sides. You can see this on batteries. If you see batteries, you can see that batteries have metal caps on both the ends, or your wall outlet has two holes. On battery side, one side on battery, one side it is named as a positive and another side it is named as a negative terminal. So basically, like the positive terminal is considered as a high voltage, that is 5 voltage, and negative terminal is considered as a 0 voltage. This cannot be 5 voltage always, it depends on the battery capacity. It could be 9 volt, 12 volt, depending on the capacity, right? So let's go further. Now we'll see another example of pump, water pump, for better understanding. So we see here, this is a high pressure water tank and there is a low pressure area. So if you give a path, thin path between these two, the high pressure water tries to flow through this thin path, giving a pressurized air and turning this turbine. So this turbine will be rotating, right? And the flown water is again pumped back to the high pressure area by this pump. So this is like giving an analogy with our circuit. Here we can see that this high pressure acts as a positive terminal, this is like a negative terminal, and this is like a copper wire flowing high voltage, flowing electrons from higher to the lower voltage and turning up, doing some work and turning up an LED. So here we can say an LED is like a here it is a turbine, right? So what is this pump now then? So battery acts as a pump, so which pushes the electrons. So let's see this circuit. Here we can see that this is a battery, this is a battery, positive terminal, negative terminal, high voltage and a low voltage, and a copper wire is connected from one end to the other end, and in between a bulb is connected. So electrons flow from negative terminal to the positive terminal and current flows opposite to that. So convention of current flow is always opposite to the electrons. Now let's see how it works. So see, the electrons are flowing from negative terminal to the positive terminal. So in meanwhile it is glowing up the LED, right? So this is how our circuit works. This is end of session. So let's conclude what we have learned so far. Voltage is a potential, right? First thing is like voltage is a potential, but electricity needs to flow to do anything useful. Like second thing is electricity needs a path to flow through, which must be an electrical conductor such as a copper wire, right? Electricity will flow from higher voltage to lower voltage always. So electricity will always flow from higher voltage to lower voltage. So this was the session on voltage. In next session we will learn about circuits. If you like the session, please hit like button and subscribe our channel. For any questions or queries and feedback, please write your comments. Thank you so much. Bye bye guys.